This is an extra credit problem. If students are interested, I have a AutoCAD drawing of the 5th floor of the Samia building, 20 Somerset, and I'm going to show you how I go about modeling that. That building is largely a curtain wall exterior, including the stairwells. And so I'm going to start a new project. It's kind of odd to start on the 5th floor. I don't have plans for the entire building, but let's see where this goes. So we're going to bring in link, insert link CAD, and I have a projects folder. And 20 sums. I'm just going to accept the defaults. Let's see where Revit put the drawing, and there it is. Unpin it, move it to the center. Right. So we don't have the advantage of let me go to my AutoCAD. We don't have the advantage of, this is what's called a grid-based building. There are columns, right, that correspond with grid lines. So our chore, and that doesn't appear to be part of the group, our chore is to identify the grid associated with that, so we can place the columns, or we could just place the columns. Let's go to Revit. So they're a little difficult to see here because they're in yellow and against white background. So I'm going to go to Visibility Graphics and change the properties of the layer that's likely to, probably this columns. Let's make them blue. What else do we need? Foundation walls, maybe concrete. Let's see what that does. Okay, so that makes the columns stand out. Let's draw some grid lines. This was done for you in the $150 Andover building. You were given a structural grid with structural columns, beams spanning those columns, and then joists, lightweight steel joists spanning those bays. That should have some significance to you, what I just said. If it doesn't, please ask me questions. A grid line is an architectural element. I'm first going to go horizontally. So wherever I see a column, I can't quite snap to, there's a midpoint. So let's start there. Let's go that way and then drag it across. Huh. Those don't line up, do they? Let's try again. Next one. Maybe that they don't, maybe they're just withdrawn incorrectly. We don't really know that quite yet. Let's go here. And not end point. We want a midpoint. There we go. Because we want to go through the center of it. That appears to be good, right? So we're looking for structure. Let's click the head. Let's keep them on one side. There's some more in there. There's appear to be drawn inconsistently. Let's go up here. There's a midpoint that appears to go through. Again, keep the labels on one side. One more. Here's a midpoint. You can change the label values afterwards. So is it possible that those two columns are really not along that line? Yeah, well, it could be that the core of the building is its own separate system. That I believe, because we have some concrete walls here. Let us do the okay. Here we have an oblique system. Oblique meaning at an angle, like an oblique font, italic font is at an angle to the right. The rest of this is orthographic, north, south, east, west. Here it diverges. You recognize that. We're going to draw a grid line that is through what appear to be structural element there. I may not have got that quite right, but there's definitely that wall is oriented correctly. So I'm going to use that instead, because this is not quite the angle that we need, but we know that that system of elevators must be parallel. And then we have, well, there's some round columns there. So I suspect those are going to, let's try. End point of that to an end point there. Let's hope that those are parallel. Let's try an aligned dimension. They are not parallel. Let me pause this and do a little bit of detective work, and we'll resume.